What really changed my life, man, was I got in Amway when I was about 24. They introduced me to self-help books. And I read 2 books that changed my life. It was The Power of Positive Thinking and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. But The Magic of Thinking Big was huge for me. It just taught me one simple principle. It don't cost no more energy to think big than it does small. So if the Bible is true, which it says a man is as he thinketh, if you think poor thoughts, you got to be poor. The moment you change that thought, you start the process to becoming wealthy or rich. I mean, it's really how it works. People complicate it, but Bible's pretty plain. All you got to do is believe it's talking to you. That I come to give you life and give you life more abundantly. You don't think he talking to you? You ain't got to be rich to have an abundant life. Sometimes you just need to be healthy, happy. You don't need a few million. I did, but to be honest, it didn't make me happy. It really didn't. Need God to be happy. I'm just telling y'all from a hood perspective what I did to get here. If you don't believe me, you ain't got to. But I made it.
We wonder why we don't have any strength, why we can't get ahead. It's because our thoughts are limiting us. You can't think defeat and have victory. Your life is going to follow your thoughts. You need to think power thoughts. Victory starts in our mind. Breakthroughs, new levels, depends on our thinking. I'm worried about my finances. I'm stressed over my children. That's drawing in more negativity. You'll be amazed at what will happen if you'll start thinking power thoughts. You'll feel strength rising up, courage, determination. Proverbs 4 says, be careful what you think because your thoughts run your life. Are you thinking power thoughts, well-able thoughts, or are you thinking defeated thoughts? You're choosing which direction your life is going to go. Don't just think any thought that comes to mind. If it's negative, fearful, don't give it the time of day. Thoughts whisper, nothing good is in your future. If you dwell on that, you'll miss your destiny. When you're in tough times, the enemy will work overtime trying to convince you that the problem is too big. He knows if he can keep you defeated in your thoughts, then he can keep you defeated in your life. When thoughts tell you it's never going to change, instead of thinking those weak thoughts, turn it around. Yes, this problem is big, but I've been armed with strength for every battle. What God started in my life, he's going to finish. But if you're believing these lies that it's too much, then you're going to feel overwhelmed and you'll get stuck where you are. This is what happened to the Israelites. Moses sent 12 men to spy out the promised land. 10 came back and said, Moses, we'll never defeat them. They look like giants. We don't have a chance. God had already promised them the victory. But notice what they were thinking. Weak, limiting, fearful thoughts. Joshua and Caleb came back with a different report. Yes, the people are big, but we know our God is bigger. Joshua and Caleb weren't any bigger than the other spies. The only difference was their thinking. 10 men infected the rest of the people. They ended up wandering in the desert for 40 years. Don't get infected and miss your destiny. Like the Israelites, God has already promised you the victory. It may be tough now, but keep the right perspective. Victory is in your future. Abundance, freedom is coming your way. I'm asking you to be a Joshua. Think can-do thoughts. Think victory thoughts. Look at how big your God is. That obstacle is no match for him. When you believe, all things are possible. Get your thoughts going in the right direction. You're not fighting this battle on your own. You have the most powerful force in the universe fighting for you, keeping that sickness from taking you out, moving the wrong people out of the way. I will overcome this obstacle. I will rise out of lack and struggle. When you think like that, the creator of the universe goes to work. It's significant that the 10 spies were negative and 2 were positive. 80% of people will be negative, 20% will be positive. You can't just fit in and be afraid like everyone else, be negative like that neighbor. God is looking for some Joshuas, people that stand out, people that aren't discouraged by how big the opposition is. Negative thinking is contagious. All around us, there's negative news. Analysts telling us what could happen, how it may get much worse. It's good to be informed, but you can't let that poison stay in your spirit. Isaiah 8 says, do not think like everyone else. Do not fear anything except the Lord God Almighty. You don't have to fear the virus, fear the future. Just keep honoring God and He will keep you safe. He'll do what medicine can't do. He'll turn that child around. When the majority is afraid, negative, you have to be on the offensive and say, no, I'm not falling into that trap. I'm going to think power thoughts. I was out riding my bike the other day, and most of the route is flat, but there's this one very big hill. I like to exercise, enjoy the challenge, but this particular day I was tired. About 10 minutes into my ride, I started thinking, I don't want to go up that hill. I don't want to have to push, wondering if I could make it up it. At one point, I received a phone call. I started talking as I was riding. About 20 minutes later, I hung up. I thought, okay, I don't want to go up that hill. When I looked around, I realized I had already gone up the hill. But because I was distracted, not convincing myself that I couldn't do it, I made it up the hill with no problem. I didn't feel any more tired. I don't even remember going up it. I wonder how many times we're telling ourselves what we can't do. We're dreading things, thinking these weak, defeating thoughts, when the truth is you have already been equipped to handle it. When God created you, He put in you everything you need to fulfill your destiny. When you get to that hill, you're going to discover, like I did, it's going to be easier than you thought. Every morning when you wake up, you need to power up. This is going to be a good day. I am strong. I am confident. I have the favor of God. I'm excited about my future.